Shalom. All praises be to the Most High. Today, the lies of Christianity stands on trial, and the word of the Most High is the judge. Come on, every false doctrine is about to be cross-examined by the law and the prophets, precept upon precept. My name is Salvation to Israel. Welcome to the channel. And if you are not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Like if you enjoy this kind of content. You'll be glad you did. We have a lot more coming. Let's dive into it. Today, we hear so many Christians trying to debunk or trying to challenge our brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Okay. And today we're going to examine one of the verses or one of the tactics that they use to try to discredit what the understanding that the Most High has given us. Christians misuse Isaiah 28:13. They mock it. And we're going to examine those verses today, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Understanding Isaiah 28:11-13, judgment, not rejection of precepts. So again, many Christians, they teach and they misuse Isaiah 28:13, saying, see, those Israelites using precept upon precept are the ones falling backwards and being snared. The truth is, these verses are about rebellious leaders mocking the prophets and rejecting the Most High's word. It's not about condemning the method. So today, what we're going to do is we will prove precept upon precept is righteous, according to Psalms 119. Secondly, Isaiah 28:11-13 is judgment prophecy. And thirdly, Yahushua and the apostles confirm this principle. So, without further ado, let's get to it. The first thing we want to remember as we delve into this topic of discussion is the context before the verse 11. That's very important. So let's look at Isaiah chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 9. Isaiah 28 verse 9 says, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? What you'll see here is two questions that are being asked. It says, them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Verse 10, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Shalom, so you, Sister Tamika, I see you this time. All praises be to the Most High. In these verses, the Most High teaches with precept upon precept. What we'll discover is Ephraim's leaders were spiritually drunk and mocked Isaiah like it was a childish repetition, Salakia. So we'll see some examples in the book of Psalms 119. And what you'll find is many of these religious people today, they challenge Israelites that may not be as learned in the scriptures to discredit all of the children of Israel. So today, we hope that you take these notes down and apply them in your study. Psalms 119 and verse 4. Watch this. Psalms 119 verse 4 tells us precisely, thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Verse 100. Psalms 119 verse 100. Verse 100 tells us, I understand more than the ancients because I keep thy precepts. Verse 104, it says, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. And lastly, verse 128, it says, therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way. So precepts bring understanding, as we read in Psalms 119, verse 104, and Psalms 119, verse 100. It says, through thy precepts, I get understanding. Therefore, as a result of your understanding increasing, you're going to hate every false way. So, a lot of these people that are challenging the children of Israel, they're here to debate. And that's not one of the things that the Most High has sent to us. Okay. He didn't send us debaters because there's no edification in that. As a matter of fact, the Most High hates it. So now let's get into the scriptures that they try to use to discredit the children of Israel. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, and we'll start at verse 11. I want you to watch this. And this is where they start. And many of you have heard them mock the children of Israel. But let's get some understanding today, family. It says, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, stammering lips and another tongue. Okay, so this is symbolic of a foreign language or judgment. Keep in mind the Assyrians in 722 BC and the Babylonians in 586 BC. Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 33, 18 to 19, and watch this. Watch how it all comes together. The book of Isaiah, chapter 8, chapter 33, and verse 18. And it reads, thine heart shall meditate terror. Where's the scribe? Where's the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? Verse 19. Thou shalt not see a fierce people, a people of a deeper speech than thou canst perceive, of a stammering tongue that thou canst not understand. So this is a foreign speech, or it equals captivity with stammering tongue. Keep that in mind. Watch this. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 21. See, they just go to one verse and try to teach a doctrine from that one verse. But we're going to provide precepts that expounds and teaches and gives the understanding. In 1 Corinthians, here, 1 Corinthians, let me take my time, 14 and verse 21. Okay. And it reads, in the law, it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people. And yet, for all that will they not hear me, saith the Most High. Let me read that again. In the law, it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people. And yet, for all that will they not hear me, saith the Most High. So Paul confirms foreign tongues are a sign of judgment, not edification. Okay. So Christians mock what they don't understand. So when they use Isaiah chapter 28, they think that they're mocking us, but they're mocking the Most High. Bruh. Let's go back. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 12. Watch this. The book of Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 12. And it says, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. Okay, this is dealing with the rejection of rest. Rest was offered through obedience, the same as Jeremiah chapter 6 and 16. Let's go look at that. Man, you gotta love precepts, man. This is how we get the understanding. All praises be to the Most High. Oh, praises. Watch this. Isaiah 8. No, I'm sorry. Jeremiah 6 and 16. Watch this. Thus saith the Most High, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Rest was offered through obedience, just like we're reading here with Jeremiah. But they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't listen. This is what Isaiah 28 is referring to. Let's look at Isaiah 8 and 15. Watch this. Isaiah 8 and 15. See, Christians don't teach you this. They're not here to edify, they're here to mock and ridicule. Isaiah 8 and 15. Watch this. It says, and many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Okay? This is plain when you apply the precepts, family. But it's not for everyone. It's only for people that have ears to hear. Watch this. Matthew 21, and we're going to read 43 to 45. 21 and verse 43. Shalom. Welcome to the live. Watch this. Matthew 21. We're going to start at verse 43. It says, therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of the Most High shall be taken from you and given to a nation, bringing forth the fruits thereof. And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken. Now listen to this prophecy. But on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. Now listen, in verse 45, it says, and when the chief priest and Pharisees had heard his parable, they perceived that he spake of them. Isaiah 8 and 15 just said, many stumble, fall, and are snared. Then we see in Matthew where the Messiah, Yahushua, gave the parable. And many of the chief priests and Pharisees heard his parables, and they perceived that he spake of them. This is what Isaiah is referring to. Let me go and put this in the red so everybody can know. I know we know. I know we know. Let me put it in the red letter so we can see this is the Messiah speaking. Now look at that. You see that? So when we are dealing with Isaiah chapter 28, and we're dealing with 11 to 13, and you see a lot of these Christians use these verses to discredit using precept upon precept. Just use these precepts, and they'll explain themselves. So what we just read in Isaiah 21:43 to 45, Yahushua says the kingdom will be taken from the rebellious leaders and given to a nation bringing forth fruit. The chief priests and the Pharisees knew he spoke of them. This matches Isaiah's warning of stumbling and being taken. Okay, let's look at another one in the book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 11. Mm-hmm. Romans 11 and verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Another verse that they use out of context. Okay, these Gentiles here are Israelite Gentiles, the northern kingdom. So Israel stumbled, but is not permanently cast away. Okay, let's look at Matthew 23 and 13. Watch this. Matthew 23 and 13. A lot of these people on TikTok working overtime, even on YouTube, trying to put out content to just control the masses. Watch this. 23 and 13. Matthew 23 and 13. It says, "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go into." Huh? The leaders keep others out of the kingdom. And then you see people in religion doing the same thing, mocking the Most High through his word, saying that we don't have to keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments along with the faith of Yahweh Shai. This is what we're seeing in real time. This is why we said last week, you must guard the truth once it's sown in your heart. So now we're going to go directly to the verse that they mock amongst the children of Israel. Let's go to Isaiah 28 and 13. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 13. And watch this. It says, "But the word of the Most High was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken." Now, when we read this verse, it says the word taught precept upon precept. It becomes a trap for the rebellious, not because the method is wrong, but because they rejected it. That's the context of what Isaiah is explaining here. So when we go back and look at Matthew chapter 13, watch this. Matthew chapter 13, and we'll start at verse 9. See, they don't show you, they don't navigate through the scriptures. This is why when we read in Second Timothy, it says, it speaks about studying to showing yourself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. So if you can rightly divide, you can wrongly divide. And they don't use precepts, so they develop their own interpretation. So in Matthew chapter 13, we'll start at verse 9. This is the Messiah speaking. And he says, "Who hath ears to hear, let him hear." Verse 10. "And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered," he being Yahweh Shai, "answered and said, Unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand." Right? So when we read verse 14 and 15, it says, "And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. Lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them." Okay? "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." This is why it's important for us to get this understanding and truth in these days and times. So who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Yahweh Shai explains parables, and they're fulfilled in Isaiah 6, 9 through 10. The same principle is in Isaiah 28. The truth is hidden from those that are hard-headed and stiff-necked. These are the same principles that are being quoted and applied from the book of Isaiah. That's what he said in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 6, 9 through 10. This is the same prophecy being fulfilled. It says, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and ye see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Okay? So understanding is not given to everyone. This is why when we sow the word of the Most High, it's not for us to determine who gets the understanding and who doesn't. The Most High determines that. We just sow the seed and we study to show ourselves approved unto the Most High, because truth is hidden from those that are hard-headed and stiff-necked. Mark 8, 29 to 30. Watch this. Mark chapter 8 and verse 29. And many of them will not even give you the opportunity to explain this because they're stuck in what it is they believe. They don't want to use precepts. They speak against it. It says this, it says, and he said unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Okay. And Peter answered and said unto him, thou art the Messiah, the Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Right. And he charged them that they should tell no man of him. So Yahweh Shai revealed his identity to his disciples, but commanded silence. He didn't reveal his identity to the high priest and the Pharisees. Showing truth is revealed selectively, not to mockers. Keep that in mind. Watch this. John chapter 7, verse 35. Again, this is the Messiah encountering the high priest and the Pharisees and the scribes. He says, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So these dispersed that he's going to, it's the northern kingdom. These northern kingdom Israelites that are being called Gentiles. They were the ones that were dispersed. So the high priest and the Pharisees, they didn't go amongst those people. They looked down upon them because they knew that the covenant stated that the Most High had given them a bill of divorce. But the prophecy also stated that he would make one king and they would be one stick again. They would be one nation and one kingdom, no more two. So what we're going to provide is proof that precept teaching is righteous. Okay. We already read that in Psalms 119 because it affirms precepts as the way of understanding, and prophets used it repeatedly. Let's look at Luke 24 and 27. Watch this. Luke 24 and verse 27. And it reads, it says, and beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And beginning at Moses, you see, Christians don't read this. They said, we're not under the law of Moses. We're not under the commandments. The Messiah is going and he's teaching, and he begins at Moses and the prophets. He expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. This is why it's important to have these precepts so you can study to show yourself approved unto the Most High. Now watch this in Acts 17 and 2. Watch this. Acts chapter 17 and verse 2. You're taken away. It says this, and Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures. The Old Testament are the scriptures. We'll do a discussion on that. The Old Testament are the scriptures. The New Testament are the gospels, the epistles, the law, and the prophets. Those are the scriptures that Paul is referring to. Okay. So Yahushua and Paul reasoned from the scriptures. This is a spiritual principle. The word cuts 2 ways in the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 2 and verse 12. Salakia. Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. Dissecting this mockery. Watch this. Hebrews 4 and 12 says, For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart. The same word brings life to the humble and judgment to the proud. So, in closing, this is going to be a warning and hope. Okay, don't be shaken when Christians twist Isaiah 28. They're like Ephraim's drunk leaders. That's who they're acting like. They are rejecting precepts leads to judgment. And remember, precepts, the precept method is from the Most High, not man. That's one thing that we have to remember. So when we go in closing, Isaiah 8 and 20, watch this. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So it says clearly to the law and to the testimony. And the last scripture for this evening is going to be found in Psalms 19 and verse 7. Psalms 19 and verse 7. It says, the law of the Most High is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Most High is pure, making wise the simple. So the law of the Most High is perfect, and it also converts the simple and makes them wise. So with that being said, family, we hope that these precepts found you where you can go back and watch this over and over again, write these precepts down, get the understanding, and study to show yourself approved unto the Most High. Okay? This case is closed. The evidence has been presented. The verdict is truth, and the lies have been overruled. This is Salvation to Israel. Court is adjourned.